Welcome to another edition of the Resilient Living Podcast, a show dedicated to improving quality of life for both people and planet through liberation and independence, moving from surviving to thriving and living life on your own terms.
All right, I guess it's all about economic uncertainty and preparations and things that we should do for the coming possible hard times, as we've been preaching for the past year to 2 years, watching everything just kind of morph into this strange world. I never could have counted on COVID and things like that hitting, the cerveza sickness. But you know what, guys, we're going through a rough time, and I wanted to do this show today because I think a lot of people aren't even aware of exactly what's going on. Now, there's no way to predict which way this can go. But there's a lot of professional economists. There's a lot of people talking about stuff. I mean, you've got Peter Schiff saying one thing. You've got Ken McElroy saying another. You've got Robert Kiyosaki. We got all of these different types of people. George Gammon getting in there. These are a lot of professional people. I listen to all of them. And basically what I've come to understand is that nobody knows and nobody could predict what's happening. But we are definitely in an area of uncertainty. And it's not looking good. So I wanted to get this message out today to talk to people, to let them know what to do regardless of the outcome. That's actually my first note here, is why to be prepared regardless of what the outcome. Because you're going to be in a better spot anyways, right? We should be doing these things whether we have an economic collapse or if we don't, because it just basically makes life easier. And you know what? It relieves the stress. And the position that you guys can put yourself in a place like such as where I'm at, it makes you a lot less stressful. It makes you, a lot more comfortable, a lot more, I would say, to give you more free thought to go, okay, and some cushion, I guess I could say. There's a cushion all around you. You know that things are going to sting a little bit, but you got cushions everywhere in case you fall down and go off kilter, right? So, will there be an economic crash? I don't think any of these people know. I don't know as well. If anybody's saying this is one thing for certain, that it is certain that whole thing's going to crash, I think that you guys should go elsewhere because nobody has a crystal ball. The government has pulled magic stuff out of their rear ends over and over again that are completely surprising, even to the most elite of the most professional people who claim to know all about economics. So will it crash? We have no idea. But what are we going to do just in case, right? And regardless, is we need some emergency reserves. So I've got a short show for you guys today. And in fact, we are going to try to limit this down to about 10 to 15 minutes episodes instead of our usual 20 to 35, 40 minutes because I think the background noise is just killing my audience, when I'm driving in my truck. I'd love to know. Comment below. Let me know if you like these shows where we're stationary and you don't have all the humming going on in the background. All right, emergency reserves. What do I mean when I say that? All I can talk about is what I have for myself and what I think that you should do. My very first one is money, right? What happens if an economy collapses? The Fed's balance sheets, the stock market, what does that all have to do with? All has to do with money. I've been preaching for years about how you should run your life like a business, that you need to understand that your life is a business. You have a social security number attached to you. There are taxes that you pay. When you buy physical goods, you store them. How did those physical goods get to your house? By money. Right? The electric is turned on, right? By money. The water flowing to your house because of money. And guess what? All that takes taxes. So if you're wasting water, you're wasting electricity, you're wasting food, you're throwing your money away, and you're basically a business, an entity that's going to go down, or if not go down, you're going to suffer at some point, especially at a time like this, where if we do end up having a collapse. So money is definitely something that we all need to understand. I mean, all of this thing I have here, food, energy, water, shelter, all of this stuff has to do with money. So if you don't have that organized, how do we do that? Well, we talked about budgeting. We talked about how to save. I've given you guys ideas on how to repurpose things. But your biggest thing is, and I don't have time to go in detail today, is to start stocking it away. And you have to go and eat dirt, right? I mean, literally, I think it has to be said that way. If people ask me, you're lucky. Bull crap. Bull crap, am I lucky in the 0.0 of a fraction? I ate dirt. I ate crap, basically, meaning that I didn't physically eat crap, but what happened is I didn't go out for very long time. I did not go out to restaurants. I didn't get any coffees. I still don't really do that stuff anyways. I'd rather prefer making the stuff myself because I'm better cooked than most of the places I've been to. But the fact is that I saved my money. I went down to Topper Ramen if I had to. I ate bean and cheese burritos for a week straight, right? So there's a lot of different things that I would do as far as food goes, and traveling, spending gas, leaving the lights on. All of this stuff people say, oh, that's just pennies on the dollar. You know what? A lot of that stuff starts to add up. Bringing your own water, doing meal preps. Right now in this day and age, I went to get nachos, guys. I treated myself on Friday to some nacho fries, or carne asada fries they're called. Oh my goodness, if you're in Southern California, you guys got to try this. But they're just the best. For your health, no, but they taste really good. They're fun in your mouth, but not in your gut. But it was like $15, guys, for lunch. And then you go to buy yourself a Gatorade, right? I'm in the construction industry, if you can't tell by this those of you watching this on the YouTube or wherever else, this is construction best. You buy yourself a Gatorade or 2 Gatorades, a gallon of water. These are the things I'm saying. You're add it all up, people. Just what I just told you guys there. A gallon of water, lunch. That's if you're not even eating breakfast, right? And you're buying yourself 2 Gatorades. You're looking at like $20 a day, right? If we just start doing some math, about 5. Keep it simple. Monday through Friday, 20 times 5 is about $100 a week. That's $400 a month, give or take on some months to have an extra week in there, right? You're at $500. I'd say even about $450, guys, a month. On what? On what? And you start adding these things up because you say you can't afford to have an emergency preparedness fund, right? Emergency funds. If you did that for 1 year, do the math, guys. Do the math. If we keep it simple there, let's just say $500 a month you're able to save, give or take with other things. In 1 year, you're looking at, what is that? $500 times 10 oh my, I can't believe I'm trying to do math right now. I believe that's $5,000 plus another 2. That's about $6,000 that you guys would be able to get yourself as an emergency fund. And the average American barely can deal with $1,000 emergency. Barely $1,000 emergency. Something happens to your car, something, boom, they're shooken. 7 out of 10, basically, is what they are saying. So, guys, you need to get that money down before anything else. And, there's a whole lot of ways to go about that. Like I said, doing your own meal prep. I used to go on jobs, and I'd take a little toaster oven, right? And I'd go plug it into my client's wall, run an extension cord to the back of my truck, and I would just make myself some hot, beans with chips and a little bit of cheese on top, make my own nachos, right? And then I have a water filtration system, which is my next one here. I guess I jumped the gun. We have energy, but since we brought up water, I filtrate my own water. I have a whole gravity-fed system that has no electrical. It's very simple. Instead of having a reverse osmosis system and spending the cost on something like that, which to me is not very good for emergency preparedness because a reverse osmosis system could give out, gaskets could go bad, whereas a simple gravity fed, guys, all it is, you can make one out of a 5-gallon bucket, YouTube it, right? We're going to get into that. You got to get your mindset straight here. YouTube, how you can buy these filtration little canisters, and you can actually place them in 2 5-gallon buckets. You'll get 5 gallons of water filtrating through the bottom to fill up another 5-gallon bucket on the bottom that has a spigot. You can basically make your own water filtration system. This is what I take to work every day. I don't really drink Gatorade. I drink a lemon with water if I get really thirsty. I'm saving a ton of money. I'm making my own lunches and things like that. I don't really drink coffee, but if I did, I would make my own thermos of coffee to take with myself every morning. If you think that's a lot of work, do like I do. Do a meal prep. Do where on Sundays you make all of your lunches for the whole entire week. I can prep out my whole raw juices. I just had my smoothie today. Here's my jar. I make all of my own foods and everything, enough for 5 days in advance, and it takes me maybe about an hour, right? So if let's turn this around and say that someone was going to pay you to make all these lunches for you, right? Or you were going to pay somebody else. You were going to outsource this out, and looking at the cost that you're going to save, guys, $400, $450, $500 a month, right? Look at that. And the cost that it makes, it's pennies on the dollars. I'm probably making all my lunches and everything for the whole week for under probably, I'd say $10, right? So I'm saving probably about $90 a week. I just wanted to share that with you guys. So yeah, your water, and in an emergency, I think that, if the economy crashes, it's not like we're not going to have water. But I just look at if the economy crashes, all of these things. I just wanted to put that in their food and water because there are ways to save. You guys just got to get creative. You got to look around you and don't miss all the little things, I guess. That's where I think a lot of things get overlooked. It's like, well, that's just that minuscule little thing. Like, I don't know, $3, $4, $5 a week for laundry. You know, what if you bought yourself a used set and you put that inside your house if you have a house? All of these little things, all these nickels and dimes, and when you regulate your life and start watching where all the money starts flowing towards, it all starts adding up. So luck, as I say for me, no. That's hard work. That's eating dirt. That's doing boring things that are very unsexy, right? As far as auditing every little penny, everything where it goes. And that's why I'm trying to streamline this and get you guys interested as well so you can do the same for yourself. I've got enough money for about 2-3 years right now if I just sat and did nothing. And I've designed my life to be so, but that's what I want for you guys in case this thing goes down. And as I said, we should be doing these type of things regardless of the outcome. Get yourself set up so regardless if there is a crash, you're set up. You've got enough money, some wiggle room to do something. If it doesn't, hey, best on you. You got a couple $1,000s to actually invest and get yourself even further ahead in life to better your life and whatever that means to you. Energy, I think, is another one, and I consider food, I consider money, I consider water, all of that like an energy source. And I think that the further you can invest in such things, like for myself, I'm in my vehicle right now, my 96 F350 pickup truck. I've invested in a solar panel with a nice refrigerator freezer, the kind that the Australian truckers use when they're going from one side of the coast to the other in the middle of the desert where there's nothing. This thing will last me probably like 25, 30 years. You know, it uses the energy of a light bulb. Was it cheap? Heck no. It was about $1,300, but that was probably about, I would say, maybe 3-4 years ago. But I prep all my lunches. I put everything in the back of my truck, so there's no excuses that I don't have lunch today because I forgot to grab it out of the fridge. Going back on how much money, this is when I want to get in the mindset. That fridge cost me about $1,300 to $1,400 long ago. All of the meal preps and things that I've been doing, sticking my cold water, my lunches in, do you think that thing has paid for itself? Probably 5 times fold. So in energy, this is what I want you guys to think about. And I think and one of them I have here is shelter. Guys, I live in a tiny house, also known as an RV, a stationary RV in a full-time RV park. Most of the rents here I've been looking at to rent a house, possibly $2,800, $3,500. Guess how much I'm paying, guys? I just want to be open with you. $950. You cannot find, and some of you are like from Texas stuff going, what? $950? You know, that's my mortgage. Well, living here and making the money I do and living in North County, San Diego, Southern California, you know, it doesn't get cheaper than that. You guys are in Texas, good on you. I'll bet you can find a place for half that. And you should be living that way. You should be living way below your means, right? Way below. Act like you're living poor. Stack up that cash if you can. Get out of certain situations that are costing you a lot of money, such as shelter, and humble yourself, guys. No, if you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, they don't care about you. You know, it's about your happiness. It's about you getting financially set so that when you do decide you want to buy maybe that big house or rent that big house, you're in a position like I am where you have all the backup in case crap hits the fan. So that's the mindset, guys. That's when we come in here. I know I'm probably blabbering off too much. I already gone way over 10 minutes, but I just get perverse about this stuff. But the most powerful thing that you can do to prepare for all this stuff is to get your mindset straight. And I'm sorry to say, guys, I'm looking at people around me and they're telling me about some of the problems that are already happening. And I'm like, what are you doing about it? And they're all focused on the negatives. That's not going to get you guys anywhere. None of this stuff, this whole system is it's a crapshoot. We've been failed at being educated, and we've been led astray to look at things, to put all of our energy, as we were talking about, into things that don't even pay back. There's no ROI. Why do you think a lot of people are suffering? Why do you think they've been suffering? Why do you think they're going to suffer very hard if inflation keeps going up and we do have an economic crash? Because they don't have the mindset. They don't have the educational skills to navigate in times of uncertainty and in bad times. There's no backup. There's no nothing. And guess what? Think to yourselves, guys, who cares about you? I've got nobody coming over here, you know, to pick me up off the floor if I fall down. I've got to take care of that myself. And I think that each of you need to do that as well. Instead of relying on your parents or relying on your children or, you know, vice versa. You should be able to stand on your own 2 feet. Ask for help when you really need it. But if we had everybody working this way, everybody living below their means, below their wage, saving money, and practicing for, I'd say, for practical prepping, basically. And I think that what I've noticed for myself is I'm actually a prepper. I think I just have to come out to myself and say it, right? I'm coming out of the prepper closet. I never thought that I was, but judging and hearing what other people's are doing and hear that prepping word going on, and I'm like, you know what? We are definitely a prepper. I've got enough food for probably about 4 or 5 months. I've got enough money for 3 years. I got plenty of energy of stuff stored up, and I'm like, wow, I guess I am totally a prepper. So I would like other people to consider prepping now before it gets too late. Even if there is a crash, the sooner you start, the better. Get that mindset. Start thinking about what I said today. Comment below. Let me know what you guys want to hear about. What if you guys want to hear more about what I'm doing, what I think you guys should do, what's happening with the economy? I'm here to try to help and try to steer people in the right direction in this economic madness mayhem that's going on around us. And who knows what's going to happen? Who knows I've been away from the news. I have no idea what happened today. So, guys, yeah, I hope that went over well, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
All right, guys, that's the show. I want to thank you guys, each and every one of you, for taking the time out and being here today. And if you guys can, give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down. If you did give me a thumbs down, please let me know why. I love to hear all your guys' opinions, but it really helps me out. That's all I'm asking, is if you guys like and share, comment on the show. It helps the algorithms for this show to get known. That's what's going to keep the lights on around here. So, guys, there's an email down below in the description. If you guys want to make any comments, just say hello, give any suggestions. And as I always say, guys, go out there and have yourself a near-life experience. Don't lose your muchness. Carry on the fire. And human up, my friends.